All right, I was just watching a segment of Sports Nation that couldn't have been more perfect in timing. You, as many of you know, anybody that's been on Let's Talk Basketball for any considerable amount of time knows I speak about living in nostalgia and being nostalgic, which is, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you continue to live in nostalgia and you continue to place more precedence on the past, excuse me, then what's going on now, you will miss what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Bruce Lee had a famous quote. I'm about to butcher it, but I'm gonna give you the gist of it. But anyways, when he slapped the little dude in the head, and he pointed at the stars, and he was like, "Don't pay attention to me pointing. Don't pay attention to the finger that's pointing to the moon, or you'll miss all the glory within the moon. You're so focused on the finger and where it's pointing that you're missing the overall big picture." And I think a lot of NBA fans do that. So I'm gonna play this segment of Sports Nation, and you know, y'all comment, and we're gonna do it like that. So let go. Hold up, got the U verse going.
The Jordan-LeBron debate continues for some reason for another day.
Oh, here we go. I'm about to get in trouble again.
Today I'm not only gonna smack down Marcellus Wiley, but Greg Doyle of CBSSports.com. At the same time, Doyle says that not only must LeBron surpass Jordan as a player, he has to convince the world that he's better, and that's the tough part. Doyle writes, quote, "Biases and personal feelings come into play, and typically those biases lean towards Jordan.
Word.
We romanticize the past. We cannot watch Jordan now, watch him shrink from the big shot by passing to Steve Kerr, or volume shoot his way to scoring time,
Word.
or commit an uncalled
Shot fired. Shot fired.
to hit the biggest shot of his NBA career. Marcellus, do we romanticize too much about the legend of Michael Jordan?" And then, by the way, you and Greg Doyle are going to get hit by the Mack truck right now. I'm coming at you.
All right, bring it. I'm glad Greg Doyle watched this show yesterday because obviously he heard some of my arguments. Yes, everyone is too caught up in romanticizing whatever Michael Jordan's career was. And look, first of all, y'all
Word.
don't do this to me.
Hold on, let him alone because I got you. Just let him alone.
Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time.
Right.
But at the same time, this premise of what Michael Jordan is based on two levels. One is the actual record, what his wins and losses were, his scoring production, him as a champion, all those things that are measurables. But then there is a rooting interest for Michael Jordan that is more emotional than cognitive. And when you merge those two, it's all
More emotional than cognitive. Continue.
almost impossible for anyone else to come into that argument and trump.
This is perfect because, yes, generally we romanticize the past. Although in the NBA, I think we have a tendency to just go with the last great thing we saw. We went through this with Kobe and Michael. Now we're going through this with LeBron and Michael. It's like what Bob Gibson, the great Cardinals pitcher, said about the best catch ever.
What year was that?
It's like the prettiest girl. The last one you saw, that's the best one, right? And right now, the last one is LeBron.
True,
But
true.
let's talk about really the content of what he said here. This is how great Jordan was. In order to talk about romanticizing him, you have to make things up. The emotion actually goes the other way with Jordan. You want to pretend he wasn't as good as he was. Listen to this. We watch him shrink from the big shot by passing to Steve Kerr. Number one, that's the example he uses. Shrink from the big shot. An over 50% three-point shooter was open with a finals game on the line.
If that was LeBron, there would be a lot of hate.
Win the game.
If LeBron made that play, it'd be a lot of hate. Keep it real.
Use that as a knock against him. How about this? Volume shoot his way to a scoring title. Michael Jordan had one of the highest field goal percentages for any two guard in the history of basketball. He didn't volume shoot his way. Michael Jordan took a lot of shots. That's because he was highly likely to make those shots. It's all nonsense. Finally, an offensive foul to give himself room to hit the biggest shot of his NBA career. What, players don't push off to get a little room to score? And it push off. And it won a fine.
Hold on, but Max, I went to dinner with Brian Russell. We went to Roscoe's one time. And this guy, I'm telling you, Roscoe Chicken Waffle, he still still is living in the memory and haunting of that offensive
Reg,
foul
by
right
the way,
there.
every time a
That
guy
was a
gets
foul.
separation like that, we've seen LeBron do that, Reggie Miller do that.
They all do that.
They all do that. So the
Yeah.
point is, when you want to talk about the kinks in in Michael's armor, Michael Jordan's armor, you just have to make stuff up. None of this are strikes against him. This is nonsense.
First of all,
volume shoot his way to scoring title.
okay, I'm not going to use those specific examples because a lot of players are guilty of the same.
Did I get you? Did I have your back on Jordan?
We're not there. But you know what? First of all,
Tire marks on you and Doyle.
first of all, this is the ultimate compliment to LeBron James because we're having a conversation about the greatest of all time and a guy who's halfway through his career. Interesting enough about that, if you talk about LeBron, this is a guy who is letting you know that game recognizes game. Because you wouldn't have this conversation with just any other player.
You say game recognized. I don't think you need to pluralize. Just game recognized.
But think about it, Max. If we walk right, this is exactly how I feel about this Jordan argument. I walk into a movie theater, and I watch this movie in its entirety, the entire movie, 2 hours. And I walk out, and you say, how was that movie? I say, man, that was the greatest movie I've ever seen. They say, okay, let's go next door. We're going to watch another movie. I said, cool. And then we're watching, and I'm sitting back, and halfway through it, you stop it and say, so how's that movie?
Right.
Okay, you know what? There's no comparing because I didn't get to finish it. But right now, at this moment, LeBron James is ahead of the pace of being the greatest of all time. And don't disrespect him.
By the way,
Did I get him?
by the way,
Tire marks.
by the
Tire
way,
marks.
he's behind the pace, and you have to cook the books if you want to argue about Jordan. The thing I love about Jordan is, you know, statistics lie and the whole thing, but they are records of actual events. And when you look at the record of what happened in reality,
Yeah.
Jordan's record at this point in his career is superior to LeBron's.
Stop.
He didn't choke away any
Stop
fourth quarter.
stopping
Didn't choke away any
LeBron
finals.
halfway through the process and asking is he as great as the best ever. Stop that.
We asked Sports Nation, do we romanticize
Oh, yeah.
about the
No,
legend
you
of
Jordan.
Jordan?
People kissing his sneakers right now.
Exactly.
People kissing Jordan shoes right now.
In fact, we like to undersell Jordan.
Really?
Good news, it's time for 3 cheers.
You said Jordan.
Incredible.
Shoes, he unsold.
One cheer for Roger Federer.